recording, please?
Yes, I have done this. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Is it recording now?
Yes, whether it is recording?
Yes, recording is started.
Okay,
Yes.
sir. Thank you. So, as today, the 5th September, the day is celebrated as Teachers' Day, on behalf of this wonderful day, I want to dedicate this session to all teachers, and I request everyone to listen my session and have the cooperation with the session. Okay, may I start, sir, now?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. So beginning, we have seen the heat transfer, its objectives. Okay. Introduction, where we have seen that there is the heat transfer from hot areas to cold areas based on thermodynamics second law. We have seen the various objectives. Then we have gone through the application in detail part. Then we have overlooked to the mechanism of heat transfer, which is conduction, convection and radiation. In conduction, there is the transfer of heat from one atom to its adjacent atom without actual mixing of atom. Such transfer is known as conduction. Where convection, it is opposite to conduction, where there is the transfer of heat from one atom to its adjacent atom with actual mixing of warmer portion to cool portion of same material. In case of radiation, it is kind of heat transfer mechanism which take place through the electromagnetic waves. Then we have gone through in detail about the heat transfer by conduction mechanism. We have also seen this Fourier's law, which states that the heat flow is directly proportional to the area of metal and temperature difference, while inversely proportional to the thickness of metal. This temperature difference is the difference between the hot temperature of hot area and temperature of cold area. So we have derived this equation by based on the Fourier's law, which is rate of heat flow is equal to or directly proportional to area into temperature difference between hot area and cold area divided by thickness or inversely proportional to the thickness of metal. So ultimately we will find this equation where Q is equal to Km into A into T2 minus T1 by L, where Km is the mean proportionality constant, where A is the surface area of metal, T2 minus T1 are the temperature differences, and L is the thickness of metal. Now the Fourier's law or law of heat conduction, it is also known as law of heat conduction. More precisely telling, the Fourier's law states that the rate of heat transfer through a material is proportional to the negative temperature gradient and to the area at right angle to that gradient through which heat flows. I have explored it in detail in yesterday's session. Today too, I would like to emphasize on this statement, what states that the rate of heat transfer which is taking place in a material is proportional to the negative temperature gradient and to the area which lies at right angle to the temperature gradient through which the heat flows. Okay? Then we have seen this equation which is derived based on the Fourier's law, and which states that delta Q, which is the rate of heat transfer, is equal to minus K into A into dt by dx, where minus is the sign which tells us that there is the drop in the temperature, where K is the thermal conductivity constant, A is the cross-sectional area, dt by dx is the temperature gradient. Okay? Now we were completed this one single page and with this diagram. Now we are supposed to look over this second and third page. Now many of my friends have messaged me that put these pages in one slide separately. So I want to share one thing. These two pages content depends upon this diagram, and it I find difficult to draw this diagram by making use of the shapes of PPT. So I have collaborated these three images in one PPT. So if possible, you can zoom your laptops or mobile phones and have a cooperation with me. Okay, whether it is okay? Hello.
Yes, it is. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, yesterday we have seen the definition of the forced convection. First, let me go with the basic definition of convection. What it tells, there is the transfer of heat from one atom to its adjacent atom with actual mixing of these two atoms, or there is the collision of these two atoms. That's why the convection is taking place in the fluids and gaseous, where the molecules show the intermolecular space and they get easily moved from their intact position. So it is the convection. Now here the forced convection, it is the type of convection where there is the transfer of heat from one atom to its adjacent atom by the implementation of external force. For example, we can use the agiator or stirrer for having the convection, and this agiator and stirrer are the external force which we are imposing to carry out the heat transfer from one atom to another by convection heat mechanism. Okay. Now we have seen this first page diagram and graph. Today we are going to see it again with a quick revision. Then we will expand our attention towards the second and third page. So here in this diagram, you are seeing this rectangular portion which is the metal wall of thickness L, and this dotted line is what? They are the boundaries of viscous film on hot and cold side. Warm fluid and cool fluid, or hot area or cold area, anyhow you can write. So L is the thickness of metal wall. These two dotted lines are what? The boundaries of viscous film on hot and cold fluid side. The fourth point says is that the fluid in right is denoted as HH, whereas in left it is denoted as CC. Both are present in the turbulent flow. Turbulent flow, the fluid having the turbulent flow when the Reynolds number of such fluid will be greater than 4000. Now we have seen this graph. The first bit we have seen, that is TA. What it is TA? It is the maximum temperature gradient in hot fluid, because as this TC, TB and TA, these three curves are lying under the warm fluid section. So we are saying that TA is what? The maximum temperature gradient in hot fluid, whereas TB, it is the point which depicts the temperature gradient between turbulent and viscous flow. Okay, now TC, which lies on this metal wall and lie under the warm fluid section. So it is the temperature between actual interface between hot water and solid surface, because it is lying on metal wall and it is present on hot area. So what it is? It is the actual interface between hot water and solid surface. Okay. Similarly, we have seen the TF, TE and TD. What the TF is denoting? It is what? The minimum temperature on cold surface. Okay, similarly we have seen this T. What T it is? It is corresponding to TB, but as the T is lying in the cool surface, so the changes will be there as follows. The T is what? The temperature gradient between turbulent and viscous flow lying in cool area, whereas TB it is the temperature gradient between turbulent and viscous flow lying in the warm fluid. Okay, so then we have proceed with the TD. As we have seen the TC which is lying on metal surface of metal wall. Similarly, the TD is also lying on the metal wall. So TC was denoting us what? It is the temperature between actual interface between hot water and solid surface. Similarly, the TD will be sorry. Similarly, the TD will be the temperature between actual interface between cool water or cold fluid and solid surface. Okay, here the hot warm fluid temperature is denoted as T1, whereas T2 is the temperature present of cold area. The curve TC, TB and TA are the curve lying in the warm fluid, while TF, TE and TD are the curves lying in the cold area or cool fluid. Okay with this page? Can I proceed to the next page?
Yes.
It is not too fast now because we have gave much time yesterday, so I am repeating. So I am going fast. Okay. Now I will carry out the same time which I have done yesterday. So in the next slide or next page, it says that first point, the thickness of film depends on the forced convection. So the thickness of film is depending on the external force which we are imposing to carry out the convection heat mechanism. Okay, if we are implementing high or greater amount of force, the thickness of film will get converted into thinner. If we are applying optimum force in external force to the film, it will remain in the medium size. Okay, likewise it is having the relation with the forced convection directly. If the forced convection increases the thickness, inverse ratio. The thickness of film is having inverse ratio with the forced convection. That means if the forced convection velocity is increased, then the thickness of the film, what will happen? It will get thinner. That means it will decrease. So second point says, so the film coefficient is determined by the indirect method. Now what it is, the indirect method we will see. Suppose the Q vat of heat flows through a warm fluid to cold fluid and same amount is passed to stagnant film of hot side through metal wall and through cold side. So let me explore it. Now we are sharing what the heat of Q vat from warm fluid to cool fluid. We have seen that there is the always flow of heat from hot area to cold area. Similarly, we are suppose that Q vat of heat is flowing through warm fluid to cool fluid. So, as the heat flow from this stagnant film of metal wall, okay, are you getting the point? When we are passing the heat from warm fluid to cool fluid, ultimately it passes through this stagnant film. These dotted lines are what? These are the stagnant fluid, which are the boundaries of viscous film on hot and cold side. If the heat will flow from the stagnant film of hot area, similarly it passes through the metal wall and it passes from the metal wall again to the stagnant film of cool fluid, and it passes the heat to this area and ultimately it becomes the hot. Okay, whether it is understandable or once again I have to repeat. ओके वी विल रिपीट. अब क्या हो रहा है, ये जो क्यू वैट ऑफ हीट हम सप्लाई कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम हॉट बॉडी टू कूल बॉडी, what happens while passing through this hot region to the cool region, the metal wall as well as this stagnant film are present in between. Sorry for the interruption sounds. सो हम कहा थे, जब हीट फ्लो हो रही है वार्म एरिया से कूल एरिया तक, जो मेटल वॉल और ये स्टैग्नेंट फिल्म प्रेजेंट है इन बिटवीन, वो हीट फ्लो ऑफ हीट विल पेनिट्रेट दिस फिल्म एंड मेटल वॉल. Ultimately it will pass from this stagnant film occurring in cool area, and then ultimately it flourishes in this cool area and it converts this cool area to hot area. This sentence means this only. Okay, can I proceed? Yeah,
Yes.
please response. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this Q watt of heat flow through warm fluid to cool fluid, and same amount is passed through the stagnant film of hot area and stagnant film of cold area. Okay. Now fourth point says that let A1 will be the area of hot side, A2 will be the area of metal on cold side, and AM is the average area of metal wall. Now you are seeing this TD and TC. We have seen it. These 2 points are constructed for explaining this A1, A2 and AM area of metals only. We have seen this TC, which comes under the hot area and lying on the metal wall. So this portion of metal wall will come under the warm area, and this TD point metal wall surface will lie under the cool area. So let A1 will be the area of metal present on the hot area or the area to which the TC point is constructed. Similarly, in case of a cold fluid, the point TD, as it is lying on the metal wall surface and lying in the cool area, let the area of metal wall lying in the cool area will have the area A2. Okay, and AM is the average area of metal wall. In average area, we will consider both A1 and A2. Okay. Okay. Yeah, please response.
Yes, it is okay.
Okay, thank you. Now look over the hot side. What it is saying, the surface coefficient H1 is described as H1 is equal to Q, that is rate of heat transfer, by A into T1 minus Tc. Whereas H1 is the analog to K by L and 1 by H1A is known as the thermal resistance. So let me explore you once again by this point. The surface coefficient H1 is denoted by the Q by A, T1 by Tc. The T1, what the T1 it is, we have considered, look here, the temperature of hot area. While what is the Tc? The Tc is the temperature between actual interface between hot water and solid surface. So surface coefficient H1, what we are actually wanted to construct this, The surface coefficient is the coefficient of the metal wall lying in the hot area. That's why we have took the T1 as the temperature of hot area and Tc, which is the point lying on metal wall and present in the hot area. So the surface coefficient has the relation direct proportional to the rate of heat transfer and has the inverse ratio with the area and the temperature of hot area and the Tc, which is the actual interface between the hot fluid and the solid surface of the metal wall. Okay, you have got this equation, what it is mean, what it had mean. Yes. The surface coefficient is the coefficient of this metal wall. So H1 we are considering the surface coefficient of metal wall lying in the hot area. That's okay. Sorry for the interruption. So surface coefficient of H1 we are describing it as the surface of metal wall lying under the hot area, and it has the direct ratio with the heat transfer and inverse ratio with the area and the temperature of hot area minus the actual interface between the hot fluid and solid surface of metal wall. Now the fifth point is saying that here H1 is the analog to K by L and thermal resistance, which is 1 by H1A, analog to K by L and thermal resistance. Due to the effect of viscous film HH and turbulent flow further lead to the temperature difference, which is shown in the form of Ta minus Tb. Similar, okay. Now let me explore this sentence. Due to the effect of viscous film HH, this dotted line is what? The viscous film, and turbulent flow further lead to the temperature difference Ta minus Tb. We have seen these 2 points, Ta minus Tb. These 2 points have constructed or occurred due to the effect of viscous film HH and turbulent flow. ये जो हम पॉइंट्स आगे डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं जो कि TB और TA है, ये occur, it had been plotted due to the viscous film HH and turbulent flow. ये दोनों की इफेक्ट से हम ये TB और TA प्लॉट, we are plotting these 2 points due to the effect of what? Viscous film and turbulent flow. Okay? And due to this, there is the temperature difference which occur in between the TA and TB. We have said that TA is having the maximum temperature gradient and TB is the temperature gradient in between the turbulent and viscous flow. These 2 points explanation is given in this फिफ्थ पॉइंट. ओके, समझ में आ रही है बात या बहुत फास्ट हो रहा है? या देखो, ये जो टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस हम TA और TB देख रहे हैं और हमने प्लॉट भी किया है ग्राफ पर, दैट TA एंड TB आर द पॉइंट्स लाइंग इन द हॉट एरिया. दीज 2 पॉइंट्स हैव ऑकर्ड ड्यू टू द turbulent and viscous film. Okay, that's why we have said that TA is having the maximum temperature gradient while TB is the temperature gradient lying in between turbulent and viscous flow. This has the simple meaning. कुछ दिमाग लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. So may I move forward?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So next point says is that similarly on coal side, अभी हमने क्या देखा, TC, TB और TA देखा, जो कि सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट की इक्वेशन से रिलेट करते हैं. Similarly, we have to see the equation or we have to construct the similar equation of surface coefficient on cool side. So the H2 is equal to what? Same, AQ by A2 into TD minus T2. That is surface coefficient of cool fluid or cold area is directly proportional to the rate of heat transfer while having the inverse ratio with the area and TD minus T2. Why we have took here TD? Because TD is the point which lying on the metal wall and coming under the cool area. That means what the TD is usually saying us, TD is saying that it is the temperature gradient between the turbulent and viscous flow. Okay, whereas the T2 is the temperature of cool area and A2, what A2 it is? Area of metal on cool, area of metal lying under the cold side. Okay, here too the H2 is the analog of what? 1 by H2A2, which is the thermal resistance. Similarly, we are having this TF and TE points which are occurred in the cool area due to what? The turbulent flow and the viscous film CC. Due to these two effects, we are getting the temperature difference as TF and TE. Okay, where TF says us that it is the minimum temperature lying under the cold surface, whereas TE it is the temperature gradient between the turbulent and viscous flow, similar to the TB of hot area. तो सेकेंड पेज पूरी बात समझ में आई? सिर्फ आपको अगर हॉट एरिया का ये जो ग्राफ या कर्व या जो मैंने सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट की एक्सप्लेनेशन दी, ये आपको अगर समझ में आया है तो कूल एरिया का आपको समझ में आया ही होगा. ओके, बोथ आर सिमिलर बट डिफरेंस इज व्हाट? टेम्परेचर एंड दिस पॉइंट्स. ओके, वेदर इट इज अंडरस्टैंडेबल और एक बार रिपीट करूं?
Repeat once again, please.
Okay, no problem. Okay, from beginning you want or from the surface coefficient?
From the surface coefficient only.
Okay, I will definitely. So look here. अभी हमने क्या पढ़ा है? सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट इज H1, इट इज डिनोटेड बाय H1 और ये इक्वेशन क्या है? Q बाय A इन Q बाय A1, यहाँ पे 1 लिखना मैं भूल गई, सॉरी, विच इज द एरिया ऑफ मेटल लाइंग ऑन हॉट साइड, A1 इंटू T1 माइनस TC. द सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट क्या है? ये कोएफिशिएंट हमें बता रहा है दैट द point which is lying on the metal wall in the hot area, you will find this TC. Okay, now the temperature T1 is what we have seen here. The temperature T1 is allotted to hot area, so the surface coefficient is having inverse ratio with the area of metal which lying in the hot side. Similarly, it is having inverse ratio with the T1, temperature of hot area, and TC, where the TC is what? The point lying on the metal wall which present in the hot area. Okay, whereas the surface coefficient subsequently is having analog to K by L, where K by L is ultimately said as the thermal resistance. 1 by H1A is known as thermal resistance. And we have seen this sentence further that due to the effect of viscous film HH and turbulent flow, this leads to what? This leads to the temperature difference TA minus TB. Okay, due to effect of what? This viscous film HH, and what? The turbulent flow of the warm fluid. Due to these two reasons, we are getting these 2 points, TB and TA, where TA is the maximum temperature of hot area and TB is the temperature gradient lying in between turbulent flow and viscous flow. Okay, now it is clear, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. You want to explain me cold similar points of cold area, or I want you want to let me to explain you next slide? Huh? Excuse me. Hello? Hello? Okay, I will explain, no problem. So we have seen the surface coefficient of hot area, that is H1. Now we are going to see the surface coefficient of cool area, which is denoted by H2, and it is given as similar to the surface coefficient of hot area, but there is the difference in the temperature. We will see it. H2 is equal to Q by A2 into TD minus T2, where Q is the rate of heat transfer, A2 is the area of metal on cold side, and TD is the point which is present on the metal wall, and T2 is the temperature which is allotted to the cool area. Similarly, the surface coefficient of cool area is having inverse or analog to thermal resistance. And due to the effect of similar viscous film CC and the turbulent flow of cold fluid, we will get the points TE and TF, where TF is the minimum temperature of cool surface and TE is the temperature gradient between the turbulent flow and the viscous flow. Now let's proceed with the third page. Now we have derived, or we have got this surface coefficient of hot area H1 and cool area H2. Now let's move further to determine overall heat transfer from hot area to cool area. अभी हमने ये जो देखा H1 और H2, ये क्या है? सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट है. सॉरी फॉर द इंटरप्शन. H1 और H2 क्या है? सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ हॉट एरिया एंड कूल एरिया. मतलब हमने पहले क्या बोला? द मेटल वॉल इज हैविंग दिस 3 एरियाज. द एरिया A1 which lies under the hot fluid, and area A2 is the area of metal lying in this cool fluid. Now we are supposed to derive the equation of heat transfer from AM. What AM it is? Average area of metal wall. मतलब overall heat जो transfer हो रही है from warm fluid to cool fluid मेटल वॉल से, पूरे एरिया के मेटल वॉल से, वो हम इस इक्वेशन से डिटरमाइन करेंगे. समझ में आई बात? यस? Okay, now the equation says about delta T, which is the average change in the temperature occurring from the hot region to cool region. Okay, Q is equal to, माइनस नहीं है वो, is equal to है, Q is equal to delta T by 1 by H2 A1 plus L by Km AM plus A1 by H2 A2. पहला ये जो इक्वेशन है पहले समझ लो, ये A2 A1 Km क्या है, फिर आपको अल्टीमेटली समझ में आएगा. सो H2 A1, H2 क्या है हमारा? सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ कूल फ्लूइड. H2 क्या है हमारा? सरफेस कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ मेटल वॉल of cool fluid lying in the cool fluid, whereas A1 it is the area of metal on hot side. ठीक है? What is L? L is the thickness of metal wall. L is the thickness of metal wall, whereas Km is the thermal conductivity constant and AM is the average area of metal wall, whereas A1 by H2A2, A1 is the area of metal lying on hot side, H2 it is the surface coefficient of cold side, and A2 is the area of metal lying on the cold side. So one by one we will go it once again. Here, to determine the overall heat transfer from hot area to cool area, we are having the equation as Q is equal to delta T, where delta T is the overall temperature drop occurring from hot area, full stop. Now it is having also inverse ratio with what? 1 by H2A1, where H2 is what? The surface coefficient of cold side, and A1 is the area of metal on hot side, plus L by Km Am. L is the thickness of metal wall, whereas Km is the thermal conductivity constant, Am is the average area of metal wall, plus A1 by H2A2. A1 is the area of metal lying in hot area by H2A2, surface coefficient of cool surface, into A2, average area of metal lying in the cool side. ठीक है, समझ में आ गई ये इक्वेशन? हम ये इक्वेशन लर्न नहीं कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ हमें पता होना चाहिए दैट ये जो सिंबल्स है वो क्या बता रहे हैं. ओके, ये बात समझ में आ गई तो आप ओके, समझ में आ गई ये बात?
Yes.
May I proceed then?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
We have seen it, the heat transfer from hot area to cool area. Now we are finding it. We are supposed to find the overall heat transfer, which is denoted as U1, which says that A1 into delta T by 1 by H1 plus L into A1 by K into Am plus A1 by H2 A2. Here we have to multiply from right side in by 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, we were about this overall heat transfer U, where we have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of right side of equation by A1. We have to multiply numerator and denominator on right side by A1. What the A1 says us? The A1 is the area of metal of hot side. So we get the equation A1 into delta T divided by 1 by H1 plus L into A1 by K into Am plus A1 by H2 A2. We have seen these symbols explanation in this equation. Similar, we are having these symbols in second equation, but what happened in second equation? We have multiplied the numerator as well as denominator by the A1. So we'll get the equation as A1 into delta T by 1 by H1 plus L into A1 by K into Am plus A1 in A1 by H2 A2. So the equation 1 can be written as Q is equal to U1 delta T into A1. Okay, if we compare this 1 and 2 equation, we will cut the similar parts and we will get the equation this, that is Q is equal to U1 into delta T into A1. So what this equation says us, we will see in this last point. It says that the rate of heat transfer is the product of overall heat transfer, that is U, area of heating surface, that is A, and temperature drop, that is delta T. तो हमें इस 3 पेजेस से ये सेंटेंस की मीनिंग हमें मिलती है, that which means The rate of heat transfer is product of what? Overall heat transfer, that is U, area of heating surface, that is A, and temperature drop, that is delta T. Okay, any difficulty in this? Yes? Can I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Whether all have understood, please I want few more responses so that I would move forward satisfactorily. Please respond.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Now the not last, the radiation beat of the mechanism of heat transfer. First point says is that we have seen it when the heat transfer occurs through the electromagnetic waves, such heat transfer is said to be the radiation. The second point says when heat transfer occurs through radiation, it is known as thermal radiation. This sentence is copied from the Subramaniam. So by heart this second point, that there is the heat transfer occurring through radiation, it is known as thermal radiation. So might be there is the involvement of temperature, so they have mentioned the thermal radiation, but yet they have not clearly constructed the sentence. So yeah, second point says us the heat transfer occur through radiation, it is known as thermal radiation. But I personally feels that the radiation which taking place through the temperature basis will be considered as thermal radiation or heat. But no doubt we will move to the third point. Now the thermal radiation, the matters which falls under the thermal radiation will have the temperature absolute zero. That means all matter that lies above the absolute zero temperature is considered to be the thermal radiation, more precise. The fourth point says is the black body radiates maximum amount of energy than the polished surface. The total amount of energy emitted by black body is given by Stefan-Boltzmann law, which states the equation is Q is equal to B into A into T4. Okay, what the radiation says is radiation is the heat transfer occurring with the help of electromagnetic waves, but when there is the transfer of heat through radiation, it is also considered as thermal radiation. Then we have seen the matters that lies above the absolute zero temperature are considered to be the thermal radiation. The black body radiates maximum amount of energy than the polished surface. Thus, the total amount of energy which is emitted or radiated by black body is given by the law Stefan-Boltzmann, and the equation based on the Stefan-Boltzmann law is Q is equal to B into A into T4. Now let me tell you what Q. Now here the Q says us the energy radiated by the black body in 1 second, whereas the A tell us that the area of radiating surface, that is area of black body. The T is the absolute temperature, whereas the B is the black body constant, which has the value 5 into 67 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. You all can write this point if you find it rare. The value of B, that is the black body constant, which has the value 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. ठीक है, सारे कोएफिशिएंट्स के मीनिंग आपको आ गए ध्यान में. The Q says us the amount of heat radiated by black body in 1 second, where A is the area of black body, T is the absolute temperature, where B is the black body constant, which has the value of 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. Okay? ये फर्स्ट 5 पॉइंट्स क्लियर हो गए अपने? या प्लीज रिस्पॉन्स?
Yes.
Any difficulty? Now we will see the Stephen law by the 6th point. Any doubt? No, na? Only you have to find the rarest point and you have to start note downing it. I will also share my PPT, but yet if you find rare point, you can also write it down. As I have found this rare point, all matter that lies above the absolute zero temperature comes under thermal radiation, and the black body radiates maximum amount of energy than the polished surface, and the total amount of energy emitted by black body is given by Stefan-Boltzmann law. The equation is as follows: Q is equal to B into A into T4, where B is the black body constant of value 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. Now let's move to the 6th point, which says us Stefan law states that suppose the Suppose a small body having surface area A and temperature T2 is occupied by hot black body at temperature T1, the amount of heat transferred in such process is known as Stefan law. Okay? The small body we are taking of area, surface area A and temperature T2, which is surrounded or occupied by hot black body at temperature T1. The amount of heat transfer occur from that small body to that black body is the amount of heat which says us this equation, that Q is equal to B into A into T4. We can calculate the amount of heat transferred from this small body of surface area A and temperature T2 transferred to black body of at temperature T1 by this equation. Q is equal to B into A into T4, which is known as Stefan law. समझ में आ गए Stefan law? Which only says us that there is the transfer of heat from small body of surface area A and temperature T2, which is to T2. The transfer of heat occur from small body to the hot black body, which is present at temperature T1, and the amount of heat transferred is calculated by this equation, and the resultant will be based on the Stefan law. Okay? Can I proceed? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now the last two bits of the lesson, the heat exchangers. We have got the reference of this terminology in previous slide. There I have told you that it is the device which is used to transfer the flow of heat from gaseous to liquid. Okay, if you remember, but yet we will go it into detail. So first point tells its definition, what it tells. So it tells us the heat exchangers are the device which are used to transfer flow of heat from hot gas to liquid through a metal wall. Metal wall is present in between the gas and liquid, and there is the transfer of heat flow from hot gas to the liquid through the metal wall. The device which is used to carry out this process is known as heat exchangers. Okay, the different kinds of heat exchangers are present. The types are as follows: shell and tube heaters, multi-pass heaters, and two-pass floating head heaters. They are the nothing but the kind or types of heat exchangers What are the heat exchangers? They are the device which are used to transfer flow of heat from hot gas to the liquid through the metal wall. Okay, done with this slide. Can I proceed? Okay, thank you. Now we have seen what are the types: shell and tube heater, multi-pass heaters, two-pass floating head heaters. Now we will see first heat exchanger, that is shell and tube heater. Now the detailed part of shell and tube heater is present in the Subramanyam. So I have took the construction and working part, and that too I have constructed here in my PPT very superficial points. So my kind request to all you people is that you have to remove your own notes regarding the each and every bit. This seminar is to tell you that this lesson usually says, hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So this seminar is only telling you what actual present in the chapter. So please don't rely on my superficial points I am telling. So refer the Subramanyam book, Martin books, and any other standard sources, and please remove your own notes. Now let's proceed with the first heat exchanger, that is shell and tube heater. This diagram is visible to all? Yes, it is visible. Now you will find here various sections named. We will go one by one, but let's proceed with the first point of the construction. It says it consists of number of parallel tubes. You are seeing these tubes. These are arranged parallel to one another. Okay, thank you. They are arranged parallel to one another. And second point says both the ends of tubes are fixed within the tube sheets. Now you have seen this naming as tube sheets. Sorry. The first point says is it is having number of parallel tubes, and second point says the end of both the tubes. You are seeing this darker portion on the both side, on the right as well as on the left side, which says us that both the ends of these parallel tubes are fixed within the tube sheets. The third point says light inlet is provided, steam inlet is provided. Okay, I will explore it here by help of this diagram. First point says these are the number of parallel tubes arranged. Both the ends of these parallel tubes are fixed with the tube sheets. Now the parallel tubes are closed by this shell. You are seeing this outer coating. It is known as the shell, whereas the shell is covered by an cover. Okay, the parallel tubes are arranged. Both the ends of parallel tubes are fixed with tube sheets. These are cased, or these are enclosed in the shell, where the shell is covered by any or by a precise cover. Okay, there are various inlets provided to the shell. We will see one by one. First, we will see the steam inlet. The steam inlet, obviously, it is provided for the incorporation of the steam. Then we have seen here the liquid outlet, where the liquid which had become hot is get collected. These two are the condensate outlet. It is obvious that when we supply this steam, the liquid which is present in between this tube will get heated, and as the liquid get heated, it evaporates some kind of gaseous that we are considered that the condensed gas, which evacuated or drained off by the help of this two outlet, and the liquid which is clear and hot get collected near liquid outlet. Similarly, you will find the two distributing chambers here. Okay, you will find these two distributing chambers here. Now this liquid inlet is provided at the bottom through which the liquid, which is not so hot or some you can tell that the cool liquid is passed through the liquid inlet. Then you will find the steam inlet is present through which the steam is entered. Then when the heat is applied to the liquid, it will evaporate some gas. The condensed gas will get drained off by these two outlets, and the hot liquid will get collected near the liquid outlet. Okay, done with this diagram? Or you want to repeat it again? So because in working case we have to repeat it once again. So I am proceeding with the working. The working
Okay,
first.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Yes.
See, now it is 2:38. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we will stop today because what happens? You have already attended 3 lectures and our time is finished, and so we will stop and we will continue tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because there may be problem of data also. So you can student leave. Okay, student.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you to all that you have patiently listened the session. And thank you for the cooperation also. Thank you, sir.